At the time, I was wanting to start an online business, which eventually I accomplished with some of my business partners. But my whole routine in my mind was geared towards helping me do that. If I could get more focused and more disciplined, I wouldn't want to play video games. I wouldn't want to do half these things that I've told you guys on this channel not to do, because I know from experience. I would do this routine instead. But then it got to a point where you look at yourself and you look back for a year and you think, wow, for the last 365 days, I've been walking around barefoot and meditating, and that's awesome. But is that going to create you an online business and generate you actual income? Probably fucking not. What's going on, guys? Welcome back to the Must Become YouTube channel. My name is Spencer, and I believe that what you can become, you must become. That essentially means that if you have the opportunity to become something, then you have the obligation to become something. Today's an important video, guys, but first, if you guys like any of this content, please leave me a like. It definitely helps me out with the algorithms and helps me push it out to anyone else who could benefit from this information. Secondly, please leave me a comment down below. I get back to every single comment that I receive, and I love speaking with you guys, whether it's about recommendations for my next video or just asking me general questions about the content. Third and finally, please smash that notification bell. It lets you know every single time I upload. That way you can derive as much value as possible from my channel and from this platform, because you'll know every single time I upload and you can watch the videos as soon as they come out. With the intro plugs out of the way, guys, I'm gonna jump right into this video. The topic of today's video, guys, is essentialism. Essentially, this is exactly what it sounds like. It's important to be essential about what you do and how you spend your time. This video is kind of interesting because it's about the opposite, the flip side of procrastination. So oftentimes we start our routine and we start getting into really cool things, like we start reading, we start meditating, we start eating properly, we start working out, we start stretching, we start doing all these things that are really important for the longevity of our bodies, our minds, our souls, our businesses, everything. And sometimes, and I've been a victim to this, sometimes that can become a little bit addictive, where you start adding things onto your routine, your morning routine, your middle day routine, your night routine, all these things. And you start adding a million things into each one of these routines. Like when I first started really getting into wanting to develop myself, making myself better, and once I started my first business, what I was really caring about was how stacked I could make my routine. I figured that if I did everything under the sun, then eventually I'd become the most optimized human being, which would lead me to have the best relationship with women, have the best friendships with my guys, be the best leader of a business that I could be, have the best body, have the best mind, everything like that. But the thing is, you start to obsess over your routine. And when you do that, your routine goes from half an hour, which is a pretty reasonable amount of time, half an hour to an hour, maybe an hour and a half, maybe that, and for some people that's still not reasonable, but if you have the time, then that's great. You start building things up, and then eventually your routine's like 3-4 hours long, and you realize when you look back that actually what you've been doing is procrastinating doing the actual work. Like I remember when I first started, I would start reading and I'd read an hour, and I was reading a book a week. So I would open a book and I'd read for a couple hours, then I'd get up and I'd walk around my block barefoot because I thought that I had to get my feet on the earth, which by the way is a good thing, but not every single day if you're doing it for 45 minutes like I was. I'd then stretch for half an hour, meditate for half an hour to an hour, write in my journal, sit there to visualize and manifest. And it was just getting out of hand, guys. I was just doing way too much stuff. And by the time I was done my routine, maybe 3 or 4 hours had passed. And then basically it was just time to start my middle of the day routine, which by the way, I don't even think you need. But that's the way I was, and that's the way it was happening. And you start to build this obsession thinking that you're making progress. And maybe you are becoming a bit of a better person in that you're holding yourself accountable, which is very important. You're making yourself do certain things and you're getting a routine and a habits built so that you can get the habit of building habits built. But it's at about this time, it's when people start transitioning, and I spoke about this in other videos, when you go from health conscious or focus conscious or results conscious to results optimized and focus optimized. It's about that, at that time where you start wanting to make that transition, where you begin to get obsessed with these routines because you think that they can help you and they can give you an extra edge in accomplishing the other things you want to accomplish. And that's totally true that they can, but you have to recognize that when you're doing those things more than actually executing on the thing that you need to execute on, it becomes itself a method of procrastination. And so that's why this topic of essentialism is so important, because it provides almost like a counterweight to the rest of your routines, which may get to a point where they're draining your results, not rewarding you with the results, at least the kind of results that you're aiming for. Because generally these routines are things used to bolster your capacities in some way so that you can then execute on the real main thing as efficiently and effectively as possible. But this video is here to tell you that you must be essential in your choices. I remember the day that I had to start breaking down my routine, and every so often, every few weeks, every few months, I go over my routine and I make sure, okay, are these things actually essential to the goals that I want in 5-10 years? And I'll be honest with you guys, it can be really difficult. It can be emotionally difficult to have to remove things from your routine because you've built up so much stock. You now need to in some cases, you need to unlearn habits. You may have been doing these for 100+ days, and it's hard for you to separate yourself because you feel like you've lost progress, you've lost commitment to something you were doing. But that's why essentialism is so important, because you haven't lost anything. You're actually removing things and you're gaining something as a result. You're gaining the time and the attention to do the things the original routine was actually aimed at. But somewhere along the line, you got obsessed with optimizing the routine, not optimizing the results that the routine was supposed to give you with respect to your major goal in life or your major purpose or your mission. At the time, I was wanting to start an online business, which eventually I accomplished with some of my business partners. But my whole routine in my mind was geared towards helping me do that. If I could get more focused and more disciplined, I wouldn't want to play video games. I wouldn't want to do half these things that I've told you guys on this channel not to do because I know from experience. I would do this routine instead. But then it got to a point where you look at yourself and you look back for a year and you think, wow, for the last 365 days, I've been walking around barefoot and meditating, and that's awesome. But is that going to create you an online business and generate you actual income or serious revenue that you can then turn into a serious business? Probably fucking not. You need to set yourself checkpoints where you can look at your routine and recognize that there are things that you're going to need to strip away. Now look, I think certain things in those kind of routines that I was talking about earlier, like meditation or whatever, are essential because they're going to help you keep a cap on your emotional side when your rational side needs to be the person in the driver's seat. However, if you're doing these for hours and hours and hours and hours a day, those are hours that you're losing to actually execute on the thing you need to execute on. I think I've made this point pretty clear at this point. So audit yourselves, audit your routines. For me personally, I completely got rid of my night routine. I recognized that it was way easier for me to squeeze more things into the morning and cap it at a certain time than for me to try and split my routine morning and night, because that gave me no freedom to execute on the things that came up in my business when I had to. If I needed to stay up later at night, now I can by getting rid of this routine that told me at 7 o'clock every day I need to do 90 minutes worth of things that if I look back, I recognize don't even directly connect to the results of my business, which for me at least was one of the main goals. There's an old Russian saying, I believe it's Russian, and it says, "He who chases and seeks to catch two rabbits will catch neither." So essentially what this means, guys, is if you're chasing too many things, you're going too many different directions, you're not going to get any results anywhere. You need to be laser focused and pick the actual thing that you want to achieve and build a routine around that, things that help you. And yes, there are things that aren't going to directly contribute to that goal. For example, meditation, like I mentioned, is a really good one. It's hard to see how that directly attaches itself to more revenue in your business or making better relationships with women or seeking that mentor that you've been looking to pursue so that they can help you grow as a person or grow your business, etc., etc. But you might realize after having done it for 30 to 40 days, because remember guys, this video is for people who are stuck in these routines, who are still not getting results. You may realize that it is essential because you see that actually you're a way better person when you meditate every day. But you have to be honest with yourself and make that cut where you say, listen, I can't be meditating for an hour a day, because if I cut it down to half an hour, that's great, which is still very long by the way, but I need to fill that other half an hour with actual productive work towards my goal. So with respect to essentialism, what do I recommend? This is a very simple strategy, but here's what I would recommend to help any of you guys who are stuck in your routines and you recognize that they're taking all of your time, but you're not getting any closer to the goal, which was the reason why you started these routines in the fucking first place. What I would do in my life is I would pick 3 main goals. Now, this may seem like a lot to some, this may seem like few to others, but I would pick 3 main goals. I would then pick one thing that I could do every single day that is absolutely essential for achieving this goal in the long run. For example, if my goal is to get a certain kind of physique, I would do exercise or stretching every single day to help me achieve that goal. That is a direct contribution to that goal's fulfillment. Now, I will give you a little bit of warning here. It's very tempting to say that you want to do research as one of the things you'll do every day. Now, research is great, but research can easily become procrastination in and of itself. That doesn't necessarily always contribute to the goal. And you'll see that if you just do research every single day, yes, that's valuable, but that's not going to actually get you to take action at any point. So I would definitely advise that what you do every single day is something that directly is building towards the actual goal you want. So for example, if you want to actually get better at speaking to women, let's say hypothetically, what I would do is not research in a book how people talk to women. What I would do is actually go out, and when I had the opportunity to speak to a woman, give her a compliment, say hello, do whatever it is, I would do that 1 time per day. Because that's actually building the skill of getting better at speaking to women. You're actually field testing what you know or what you may have learned in the past. And look, if you want to go ahead and add research, okay, fair enough. But 2 things. First thing is you're going to need to cap it so that doesn't take up all of your time, like I was talking about with that meditation example or that walking around the block barefoot example. And the second thing is you have to recognize that this does not represent the actual thing you've done that day towards your goal in 5, 10 years or however long out it is. That's a bonus that you can do once you've actually already done the other things that directly contribute. And you need to be honest with yourself. You're the only person that can really govern you in this space. So you need to be honest with yourself if what you're doing that day directly contributes to building that goal. But that's effectively what I would do to ensure that there's essentialism in my life and in my routine that's leading me to actually accomplishing my goals So guys, I'm going to leave that video there. I hope you found some value. It's really important to recognize that even though we have these routines that are meant to help us and bolster us so that we get closer and closer and closer to achieving our goals, it's important to recognize that sometimes these begin to become procrastination and they're not actually contributing to our goals. They're actually just contributing to have a longer and longer routine that tricks us into feeling accomplished. And maybe we are compared to what we used to be, but we're not actually accomplishing what we set out to accomplish. So hopefully this made sense to you guys. If you like this video, as always, please leave a like on the video. It helps me out with the algorithm, helps me push this video out to other people who need to see it and build our community stronger and stronger. Second thing is, please leave me a comment in the comment section. I get back to every single comment you guys leave me because I love speaking with you guys. And third and finally, please smash that notification bell so you can derive as much value from my platform and from this channel as possible. I would hate for a video to come out that you absolutely need to hear. For a lot of people, that's this one, and you miss it because you didn't smash that notification bell. So with that said, guys, my name is Spencer. This is the Must Become YouTube channel, and I believe that what you can become, you must become. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.